Hello and welcome back. In today's video, we are going to learn how to install and configure Entra ID Connect. Okay, so before we, install and configure the Entra ID Connect, let's understand why we actually need an Entra ID Connect. So let's say you're working for an organization and you have an on-prem Active Directory or ADDS services that you have installed. Now, your organization is currently on-prem; they're not on cloud, or the application is not on cloud. However, now all of a sudden you decide that no, we want to have a presence and application to be on the cloud as well. So let's say this is the cloud environment what we have, and here you have a lot of apps. Let's say this is your app 1, and then you have your app 2. Now, in order to, let's say this is on Azure, and now when the user wants to access this cloud application, right, in Azure how it works is like you have to configure those user in Entra ID. So basically you have to create another account on Entra ID, which again now be a little challenging job for you, because now user have to manage 2 different identities and 2 different passwords, right, which is not a good practice to have it. In order to avoid that, what we have is that we have an agent called as an Entra ID Connect. And what does this agent does is that, so let's say you have a user on your on-prem Active Directory. It syncs that user from your on-prem Active Directory to Entra ID. So that's why this Entra ID Connect is responsible for syncing the users and device from on-prem Active Directory to your Entra ID. Or you also have some advanced option on Entra ID Connect, which will sync back your user group device from your Entra ID to Active Directory. Now there are 2 agents that Microsoft is having at the moment. The one agent is Entra ID Connect, another one is a Cloud Sync. In this example, we are going to, in this video, we are going to learn and explore and understand how to configure the Entra ID Connect. So let's get started. So first thing is that you need to have a server up and running, and that server needs to have a connectivity to the internet, and port 443 should be open on that particular server. Okay, it's not something that you have a completely blocked server and you try to install it. It does not work, because if you look at the diagram, it needs a connectivity to the internet so that it can communicate with the Microsoft endpoint and do its syncing from your on-prem to the cloud and all those things. Okay, so first thing, you download the Entra ID Connect agent. How you download it? You go to Entra ID, or you log into portal.azure.com, and then you come to Entra ID Connect, and here you have an agent that you can download, right? So you can download the Cloud Sync agent. This is another agent. We are going to learn about this one as well, but not in this workshop, might be in a different video altogether. But in today's video, as I discussed earlier, we are going to learn about the Entra ID Connect. So you click on download a Connect Sync agent, and you will accept the terms and conditions. You download it. I have already downloaded the agent, and it's under my download. Now there are some prerequisites that you need to have. So the first thing is that when you install the agent, you need admin's right to installation, and then you need global administrator to configure this connector, and then you also need a domain admin. So these are the 3 prerequisites that we have to have. So make sure that the accounts that you are using they have this permission. Okay, so coming back to this, I have already installed, downloaded the agent. Now I'll double click and install it. Okay, now let me minimize this. This is my same server where we have installed the domain controller. I have just done RDP to the particular machine. If you have watched my previous video, you will understand how we install a domain controller and how we promoted a server to a domain controller. You can watch that video in the link or somewhere in the top right. I will put the link there. So this is how the agent installation gets started. You click on continue. Now, while installing the agent, you have two options. You can do a customized installation, or you can do an express installation. When you do a customized installation, you have more options. Just you can customize it. Probably like you can customize the OU which you want to sync, or you want to decide which account you have to use. You can define your own SQL database and all those things. Okay, but we're not going to use the customize option. We're going to use an express settings to install the agent, and then we're going to create another video and we're going to learn how we can customize the agent once it is set up. Okay, so I'm going to use a express setting here. And this will install the required components. And here we need to supply our global admin account. So my global admin account is jahmed@learncloud.guru. Next, it will ask me to verify my credential. And my password. Okay, and I need to supply my domain admin account. So cloud, no, sorry, it is cloud guru hyphen I think it is administrator AD, and the password for that. There we go. Now we got this error because, see, as I told you earlier, we have not configured my FQDN on this particular machine. So that's one of the reasons it says that my Active Directory UPN suffix is having this one. That's okay. I'm not gonna make any changes to it. I'll click on this continue without matching UPN suffix and to the verified domain, and I'll just click next. And then install. So it is configuring all the SQL server and everything. Okay, so Entra ID Connect has been configured successfully. There are a couple of things that I wanted to also talk about. Do remember one thing: if you are not using the latest version of server, I'm using the server 2020 2K22. In case if you are using an old version of server, please make sure that you have enabled TLS 1.2. That is one of the prerequisite which is required for Entra ID Connect to be working. Okay, but I was using the latest version and it was already enabled. I did not got any error. I thought I would be getting some error, but I did not got it. So please be very careful about that. And yeah, if you want to know how to enable that Entra ID Connect server, there is a detailed article. I will give the link in the below description about this articles, because there was a TLS 1.2 information that has been done on Entra ID Connect. For that reason, you need to enable it. So it's a PowerShell script that basically checks whether TLS 1.2 enable or not. If it is not enabled, it will. Then you have also a script to enable it. There is no harm running that particular script, so I can just run it for the sake of demo. So you copy the script, you go to PowerShell and right click, run as administrator, and you paste it, and there we go. That's all. The TLS 1.2 has been enabled. I might have to restart for the change affected. So that's how you will install the Entra ID Connect on any server. Now, for demo purpose, let's create a user. So if I go to my Entra ID users, you can see that I only have 2 users that has been created here. Azure admin and then my name Junaid Ahmed, right? Now let's create. So now what we will do, we will create a user in on-prem Active Directory, and then we'll sync that user. Okay, so go to Active Directory, users and computer. Then what I will do here is that I will create a new OU, and OU is nothing but a container which contains the users and the devices or your service accounts. So I'll create an organization unit, and I will call this as a office. And within this office OU, I'll create another OU, and I'll name this as a users. And within this OU, I will go ahead and create a user, and I'll name this as a hybrid user 1. I'll keep everything as same, and then I'll create a password. There we go, it's all done. Now what we have to do here is that we can go to the synchronization services, and then better let's do it in PowerShell. So I'll open a PowerShell window as administrator again. Basically, if you wait for 20 to 30 minutes, the sync will rerun and your users will be synced automatically. However, in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 4 things. So how do I do is that I'll write a command start AD sync cycle, policy type initial, and run. So don't worry about this. We will have a dedicated video on full import, full sync, and all those things. So don't worry about that. We'll have a video on that in the future. So you can see already there is an additional here, and what actually it is doing here is that it's syncing our hybrid user, which is HB user 1 to the cloud. So now I think the sync has been completed. If I go back to Entra ID and refresh it, you can see our user has been created and if you see here, on-premises sync is enabled for this particular user. So that's how you will install and configure Entra ID Connect on any server. If you're watching till now, we'll have a dedicated video on much more detail about the Entra ID Connect, like how we can customize and sync only the OU what we needed. So please stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good one.